Good evening, you beautiful cucumbers. Welcome to TCB Studios and welcome to Burn It Down. Happy Monday evening. We'd like to thank our sponsor, A&F Agriculture. Big shout out to Sandy D. I'll give you a call later. Big shout out to Kelly's Death Pickles. Big shout out to 3 on the 1s and 2s. Big shout out to I Choose Awesome. And we certainly choose awesome here at TCB Studios. It's the night before Valentine's Day. And whether you got someone special or not, we're just sending out love to you. We love here. Super excited about our guest tonight, an international poet and recording artist, awesome musician, fantastic writer, even better human, and proud to call him a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, bucket of fish, Ben Davidow. What?
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. You look amazing. Good to see you.
About me. I really appreciate that.
Oh man, I love when things happen. I'm just gonna say it right out. I love when things just happen naturally. And we shared the stage a few weeks back on the Now Dig This show.
Yes.
Shout out to Pietro de Janeiro. Ravioli Jesus. What an awesome night. The show was amazing. You guys were amazing.
Man, it was really fun. I'm glad that we were all there. That was really, really cool gig. And you know what? I'm going to be back there because Pietro plays drums for me in another band in Black Cat Rising.
How did I not know that? Things keep unraveling because we're going to talk about your book of poetry, what you've been doing, the Buzzards of Fuzz record, the future, and just what's been going on in your life lately. So feel free to go for it.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm kind of coming into the new year with a lot of wind behind me. I just did this UK tour. I wrote a collection of poetry that I did all the graphic design for, all the layout design. I self-published it, got it ready specifically for that UK tour. Part of the UK tour was that we were going to go and record at Abbey Road. So I did 10 dates.
Amazing.
Solo acoustic, flew in, bought a guitar kind of thing. Picked up some glasses. These are actually one of the pairs from this dude that makes glasses for Paul Thomas Anderson and sells glasses, Daniel Day-Lewis. So it was just a crazy, weird dream trip.
Yeah.
I did 10 shows in 8 days and then went straight into Abbey Road for 2 10-hour days. And I finished pretty much a whole live record out of it, which also comprises some of these readings that I did from the book of poetry with some soundscapes of things various sound recordings that I got during the tour and other elements of life from the past couple of years. So it was a really cool thing I just finished, and there's a lot more music kind of on the way for my solo stuff. In addition to everything else.
English classes. You're wearing PTA. We're big fans here at TCB of PTA. My brother and I were just discussing some Paul Thomas Anderson just a couple hours ago. Probably one of my favorite filmmakers and writers, and but also Abbey Road Studios. Congratulations. I mean, that just sounds like a perfect English dream trip.
Man, it was really beautiful, and it's kind of interesting with the Paul Thomas Anderson connection was that I originally had booked this engineer. All of their engineers have credits that are very scary.
Yeah, very. You mean very intimidating? What am I doing? What am I doing here, standing on the shoulders of giants?
Yeah, why is this guy? How do I even reach out to this guy? But I was looking at, the dude that I ended up hiring. I hired him specifically because he works with Johnny Greenwood a lot, and he was a score recordist on
Love Johnny Greenwood.
So he worked on a Paul Thomas Anderson film with Johnny Greenwood, and he's like connected to Radiohead and stuff. And I went, this guy, I want
Yeah,
that guy.
I'll take
Also,
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's just got crazy credits. One of the things, like he had mixed, done a thing for the Rolling Stones, and Mick Jagger like signed off on his mix out of 12 other mixes that they had swatches for, and like is actually personally signed off by Mick Jagger for his mixes on like some old Mono Stones cuts and stuff. And you're going like, damn, this guy, like, why is he even in the room right now? Like, why is he even talking to me? I don't even know why he's talking to me. He can't have time. But
I love it, and I love when these things happen to us, because I've had great conversations with you, and you're you still have this hunger, which I certainly still have, and I hope I never lose, because we're just grateful that our brains and hearts work, and we're creating, and we have this place in us that we want to share. And I'm blown away sometimes too when I'm in the same room or I'm working with somebody who that I admire, that I get a chance to work with, or if they even acknowledge my work and they know who I am, I have to stop and pinch myself, or ask somebody to be like, hey, can you pinch me?
Yeah.
Like I'm still trying to process this and figure it out.
Well, it works really well with the whole starving artist trope, that we're like always very hungry for multiple reasons.
Literally, yeah.
But yeah, it is humbling, and it's but what it comes down to is that we're all people, we're all humans, and we all has all sorts of wild things happening in life that we may not have control over, and no one's like better than somebody else, and there really are no hierarchies. But it feels that way in that moment. And I think it's like, it's more or less that you're giving a bow of respect for someone's experience and their life experience, and to be honored equally back from someone is such a touching feeling that you don't always get in your day-to-day life, or just recognition for your work. Like, I've always admired you, Tom, and here I am now.
Yeah, thank you so much. And like when we bumped into each other backstage on that Now Dig This show, because over the years, there's been times we've hung out. There's been times we've hung out way too late. And next thing you know, it's the next morning and we're backstage and we're having fun. But some of those times maybe are a little hazy, and I don't remember them as well. But that night was so great because it's the beginning of the year, and we're super excited about these new projects we're working on. And we're literally just we're fond of each other, and so we're literally hanging on to each other's words, and super excited for each other. And that's the best thing, because there should never ever be competition in life, and certainly not music, and certainly not art. I mean, I know for me these days, the only person I want to be in competition is me, and I want to be a better person and a better artist than I was yesterday or last year. And so we were just like, if anyone was watching us and us backstage chatting that night, we literally were just like smiling the whole time.
I know, man. I was so energized. It's so nice.
And I remember even you guys jumped in your van, and I was like, that is a very cool van. Can I borrow it for the next TCB tour? And you're like, we're going to the Earl to have a drink. And I was like, I was like, adulting sucks. I got to wake up in 4 hours and be at the studio and work, because I was super like these endorphins. I was just high off our energy, and I wanted to go.
Yeah, and it was such a cool night too with like the other bands that were there, because Styx performance was really cool.
Wonderful.
And they're just so theatrical, which was really fun to see, because it's not my like type of rock and roll, but I like
Same here.
I like really admire that people go all out for it. Like, I'm going all out. I'm like coming in wearing bird masks and being weird as hell.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. It's because it's like we realize this, and we're humbled again. Like, just I actually was having a conversation with an old friend recently, and I said I told my mother I do exactly what Bob Dylan does. And my friend goes, what do you mean? I go, I don't have his record sales, and I certainly have not put out as many albums as him, and I don't have the fans that he has. But I dream, and I put these things on paper, and I write these songs that come out of dreams and thoughts out of my heart. And me and Bob Dylan do the same exact thing, and that's what you do. And the thing is, but because we are humbled and we appreciate everything, we try to find the good in everything. I'm the same as you. Like that band, like isn't something that I would listen to, but I try to find the good in all of it. And I know I love and can appreciate all kinds of music. Like I say this all the time. There's great rap and there's really bad rap. There's great metal and there's horrible metal. And you just find the good. Yeah. And stop and smell those roses and enjoy yourself.
It sounds like exactly like something I've said before, literally. Like,
yeah, I know. Exactly.
And everything. Yeah. I think, I don't know if you know this about me, but, I used to play a ton of hip hop and I toured in hip hop bands up and down the East Coast. And
wonderful.
Went all through the South playing these really strange, kind of backwoods venues that sometimes were a little sultry is the wrong word, a little seedy.
Yeah, well, we're also big fans of seedy and seamy here.
Yeah.
The underbelly. Well, no, I didn't know you played hip hop, but that fascinates me, and I think you might need to write some short stories or dedicate part of your next piece of writing or memoir on some of these stories that happen on the road doing hip hop, because that sounds amazing.
I was telling someone the other day because I don't have many experiences in Philly, just a few. And one of them was that I went up there to play. And then at the end of the show, I just remember partying. We were like jamming super hard. And then it ended up that Rick Ross's drummer just happened to be in the club. And we're just slaying. And I have no idea who he is. No one's told me. But it's sort of like the other night of vibing off someone's energy.
Right.
I just remember this dude's smile, and he just had this big old smile. He's just the funkiest drummer in the world. He's crushing drums, and we're just jamming hard as hell. And then the next thing I know, I'm in Delaware in a different state on the same night, and I'm at somebody's house playing their grand piano with a glass of scotch. And I went, well, it was weird.
The life of a starving musician, because you're rich in so many other areas. There's definitely been nights I've played in a city or a state, and I let the after party happen, and I got separated from my band and woken up in another state, and guys have been very mad at me. I was in Virginia Beach, and then which is a cultural wasteland. You really don't want to hang out there. Sorry to anyone watching if you're from Virginia Beach, but I think I woke up in DC the next day. So, and that's a good few hour drive.
That's hilarious. That same tour, I was at Virginia Beach, like near there in Norfolk.
Yeah. Well, they do have a good hip hop scene. Pharrell Williams is from there, and he's a extremely talented guy, and he also does a lot for the city. Gives back to art programs, even clothing people. And I love when people get to that scale and they show what you were talking about earlier, that they're just humans and they do great things.
Yeah, I mean, if you give someone the keys to the kingdom to allow them to be prodigious and to be helping out in the community, I think a lot of people will really choose that path. I don't know, maybe some won't, and they're just mongers. But
right.
Well, listen, I like to believe in people at least, a little bit, because it's just I only got one life. Like I just rather believe in it, even if it's not true or something. I like the idea of that it's possible that people are, there to love each other and respect each other.
Oh my goodness.
And I think it is.
You sound, you're right up my alley. Everything you're saying. Just this afternoon, we were catching up with an old friend, and she used a term that I love, and she said, no matter what, the situation, the glass will always be half full to me. And I agree. I have to. I can't think the other way, because there's already enough bad stuff and negativity going around. And we're about choosing awesome and finding the good in all of it, and then sharing the stage with people who have who share the same thought process and the same minds and want to do good, So I mean, everything you're saying, I completely love. And then the best thing is I'm going on to this new thing, because I was, I think we chatted about this. I had my own insecurities, and I never thought that I could do a solo album. I put out books under the name Tom Cheshire, but I've never put out an album under the name Tom Cheshire. And trying to little by little put your feet in the water, 1 foot, 2 foot in the water. I was like, wait a minute. My name is Tom Cheshire. Why can't I do a project called TCB?
Yeah,
taking
awesome.
care of business, Tom Cheshire Band, whatever. And so little by little, we're doing this thing, and then we start wearing masks, and then next thing you know, we're backstage with you guys with the Buzzards of Fuzz, who are amazing, and we're all wearing masks.
Yeah, which is funny because it's actually kind of like we had taken the mask on to put the real mask.
Yes, totally.
That's my real self, is that latex bone under there.
Yeah, exactly. Now that record, it's out on vinyl. At the end of the show, please let me give a shout out to the lady in the driver's seat, Renée Yaworsky, partner in crime, partner in rhyme. Huge fan, and I was joking backstage earlier that she must be this octopus because she gets more done than and I think I get a good amount of stuff done. She gets more done than I do, more done than anyone I know in a day. So thank you, Renee. But at the end of the show, we will share on all our platforms the information how to get your book, the information how to get the new Buzzards of Fuzz album, and then anything else, Black Cat Rising, anything else you got going on, because I know you guys are going to be doing a tour. We'll do your tour dates and everything.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this tour for the Buzzards of Fuzz coming up in April. We're doing a little Southeastern run with the Pinks.
Yeah, and Adam McIntyre has been on our show before. Big fan of Adam. Shout out Adam from the Pinks. Big shout out to the Pinks. We love them and we love their record. And we got to try to meet you guys somewhere, maybe in Savannah, just to say what's up.
Yeah, you gotta do it. And what's also kind of fun about that is so their bass player is my longtime friend Charles Wiles, and he's our drummer for the Buzzards of Fuzz.
Yeah.
So he's pulling double duty for the whole tour, and it happens to be his birthday during that tour, which was kind of like, you sure you want to be out for your birthday on your tour? It's like,
are you sure you want to do double duty?
Yeah, and all of it, but he's 100% committed, I think, past what he wanted to.
He is awesome. And isn't it like seriously the best feeling in the world to be on stage and play music with your best friends?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And I think what's so fun too is we've come back to this after so many different breaks and surviving COVID and working on the record through the lockdowns and stuff like that. And really where we've gotten to is like, at the end of the day, if we get to have fun with our closest friends playing music and doing something that's really beautiful, because it's really about that element being together. And then second to that is that there's this thing that's happening that's a transmission and reception.
Right.
You're transmitting ideas and someone else is taking in. And it's on that microcosmic level of the band members being together, and then us taking this larger message and transmitting that out to a crowd and receiving that back from them. And that kind of energy is just so spiritually evolving. And it's really awakening.
I love it.
It's just like, I don't know. Yeah, the whole process around it's so beautiful. But I do kind of tend to get in like downward spirals when you come back, right?
Oh, same here.
Oh, I'm like so high the whole time we're meeting all these people, and then it just whoa.
It is a completely different high than anything else. They talk about, or we talk about like after you play, and I've learned this myself from being on stage for now more than half my life, and seeing friends no matter what city I'm in or where I'm living or where I'm working, and I'll see like one of my best friends play and maybe I hadn't seen them in a minute, and we're backstage before the show and we're chatting, and I'm like, cheers, have a great show. And then after they get off stage, I'm like, I'm going to wait 20 minutes before I go back there. Let me let this person decompress, because they're still trying to process everything that just happened, because it really is. And that was one of the hardest things during COVID, because live music of all sorts. I mean, we talk about this a lot on the show, like, the world came to a grinding halt, and it was the first time in my lifetime, and anyone who's close to our age's lifetime, that we were unsure of what the future was holding, which is so crazy now, and especially because we're playing again, and it feels wonderful. But I remember the fear that I had. I'm like, wait a minute, this is what I do, and I might not be doing this anymore. That's insane.
I experienced that. Although I'll say I went into it with, I was like, man, everyone's selling all their gear. I'm gonna buy all of this super cheap gear because I know it's coming back, and I'm gonna like
Good
be
for
ready
you.
and woodshedding. But obviously, like, I didn't know it was coming back, and I think that was just like the way of
You just had a feeling. Yeah, you just had a feeling. Well, the other thing is this, and it's another thing that we talk about. It's just like, life. Life hands you lemons. You make lemonade, and because of all that, we started this. We started these networks, and we started doing these live streams, and I started doing these shows, and basically, I kind of created another level of a bit of a career of things that I do. And I'm super stoked. I'm so excited to have you as my guest. And I'm so proud of like all of these other things that we've done, because we were like, well, no, we're not gonna settle for that. You know what I mean? Like you're saying this is it. We're like, well, no, we'll reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, what the option is, like, you lie down, roll over, and start kissing the dirt. Like I'll be there soon enough, and then leave the shell behind or whatever.
Right.
But like, I still got something here. So
yeah, I still have a lot more to say. I'm finishing up this TCB record right now, and I'm already thinking about the next one. And speaking of, I do need to give a shout out to Fred Bowman and Julio Morales and Daniel Gay for picking up the pieces and doing this BLT show for us this evening on Come On to My House, which is our sister channel. It's camaraderie, it's family. We're all, another thing we like to say here is we're all in this together in any kind of weather. And, they were like, oh, no, we'll do a show tonight. And it's really cool because it keeps people's chops up and keeps them going until like their next live show, or not everyone is in a place where they can play live as much as, let's say, we can, Daniel Gay plays a lot in New England and kills it, but where Julio is upstate, he doesn't get to perform as much live in front of people, and I hate that because he's one of my favorite songwriters and such a good singer and such a good performer. And I'm like, man, are you kidding me? I appreciate what you're doing so much on these live streams, but man, we need you in front of people. We need you in front of humans shaking their crotches and dancing. You know what I mean?
You're restructuring people's whole, spirits and their bodies and everything, the way they interact.
Yeah, there's this quote that Tom Petty said. He goes, if you came to my show and you didn't think about your problems or your job or your life for 2 hours, then I did my job. And I think about that all the time. Because I feel I have a bit of responsibility, and I love the idea of that. Whatever I'm putting out there, I want to make people stop, think, move, entertain them, make them dance, but also make them maybe the next day want to make a painting or write a poem or maybe start their own band or write a song of their own.
Inspire them, but they're also achieving a sense of an awareness of a moment, of a particular moment in time, which most of the time people are so stuck in their heads. There's so many thoughts are going around. It's another way of, like in meditation or something, just like focusing on breathing, but you're like actively bringing people into a moment with you.
Yes, totally.
It's a pretty incredible ability to do. It takes a lot of energy, but it makes a lot of energy for you. And it's so funny because like I could just be exhausted and then go on stage and have slept 2 hours and then I just go You can
Well,
play
that's
great.
that life. That's that life energy.
Yeah,
Those endorphins, that are kicking in, and they're just making you and your brain and your voice like let out and wail and
yeah.
scream and share your excitement and your love with people.
Yeah, it's a whole flurry of everything that's inside, whether the angst from the day or Atlanta traffic or
Oh yeah,
whatever it
yeah,
is, and
and
it's
yeah,
all
and that's right, and this is the thing, and yes, we're positive, extremely positive, but we also have this angst as well. I love telling people, the reason why you and I, why did you and I, when we met, why are we so attracted to each other? Well, we hit
yeah,
it off. We have some of the same thoughts and same passions, and we like the same things. We love the same things, and we certainly hate the same things. And that is just what a good combination for someone to say, yo, let's do a show together.
yeah, it's nice. Well, it's good to sometimes you need someone to commiserate with as much as you are bringing them up,
Right. Yeah,
but
backstage we could also complain about the same things.
yeah. Well, playing music, you run into a few things, but
It's
most of the time it's all really beautiful. What I've been trying to figure out is just how I let things go and not allow them to bother me. Because at the end of the day, this is an incredible privilege to be able to play music. It's an incredible privilege to be able to share my perspective with other people and for them to hear it and for it to even have an effect on their lives.
Yeah,
Um, you know,
absolutely love that. And the other thing is this, it's and I'm slowly learning that I need to get quicker at learning it, but
it's hard.
we're all works in progress. Like, we are all in this together, and it's the things that are out of my control. That's what I love about the show. As much as we talk about music and art in our lives, we really do talk about trying to, it's they say life should be like being in the circle pit. If someone's down, if someone goes down, you lift them up, and it's we try to build each other up, and it's talking about very serious things, whether it's mental illness, which is very serious and very
Yeah.
common, and certainly serious and common amongst writers and musicians. And it's the things that are out of our control, or the things that are out of my control, I need to stop sweating those things, because I got no control over them. So I should just do my best to be this good, son, brother, husband, writer, worker, best friend, artist. And
Yeah.
then whatever happens, and it's little by little you get better at that. And then that's when you're smiling and you really are getting high and you're really enjoying it.
Yeah, well, there's all these different identities of I that you just described. That the husband or the brother, the friend, the musician, the guy
Sure.
that puts gas in his car.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's
Constantly evolving
you're
sense of
absolutely right.
who
Yeah.
you are.
You're that's a huge, that is a tremendous rubber ball band that you just described.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight to carry, and I think a lot of people carry that, and they're not really as attuned or reflective of that. One of the things that I've been working on, and this sort of sounds counterintuitive because I have so many large goals, but it's sort of the Zen sense of learning how to lose, losing something that doesn't need to be won.
Wow.
There's so many things that you think that you really gotta win the something or whatever. Maybe it's the argument in the morning because you're, just woke up in the wrong way and it's you cooked the bacon wrong or something. But it just doesn't matter. It's just not a thing. And there's so many moments like that, I think, in learning how to yield that are pervasive on multiple levels, not only when you're functioning throughout the day, but there's reflections of this in our artwork. When learning how to yield when you're playing with someone else on stage and allowing
Right.
the conversation to fold. There's moments of that that are very reflective of our everyday experience and vice versa. But yeah, I've been really trying to lean into that a lot harder because it's a hard way to live when you're constantly anxious or in angst and you're getting angry about little things or holding on to things. It's just not helpful. I'm really trying to somehow figure out the way that you're able to kind of break free and go on to this next level of whatever that is. You know, it's like shooting the music video in Alaska, or allowing yourself to have dreams and possibilities that are, you know, that aren't just such an intangible dream. It's actually possible, like going to Abbey Road or something like that. Where
Yeah,
it's
that's tremendous. And thank you so much for sharing that. And we need to have you back on a part B if you get closer to achieving this, because please give me these tips. Are you guys listening to this? Because that's huge. And by the way, it just shouldn't be, you know, when you talk about like being okay with like losing something, it should not just be like someone who's playing in a band or writing, trying to write a book. It should be everything. It should be life. You know, it's like, listen, I'm okay with this.
Yeah, it's okay to allow some things to pass on. My good friend, when I was over there in the UK, gave me this necklace here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a Nordic eclipse symbol. I found out later. He didn't even know what it was. But eclipse means abandonment, basically. It's a symbol for abandonment. Which, if I hadn't been sort of studying this line of thinking before, you know, you're thinking like, oh no, like, you know, dad walked out to get a pack of cigarettes and then come back. But there's beautiful forms of abandonment. I mean, you know, your soul, if you believe in one, you know, abandons the body, right? There's the abandonment of a way of living that may not have suited you, or you know, just being able to sort of move more fluidly. And that's the same thing too, of like getting stuck like on a riff or something where, you know, you may not have as much malleability or flexibility in your thinking, and then you're going, oh wow, there's this other pocket up here that I can really dig into on a lead, or I can also allow my compositions to move a little bit more fluidly. In some senses, you know, abandonment is a really beautiful, very
Oh,
positive
that's
thing.
great.
And
Yeah.
so it's kind of learning how to like spin these different things to best suit our moment.
Yeah, for sure. And even an extra further meaning of abandonment. There's ideas that I've had that I'm fighting with, whether it's, you know, a form of a slump, like if you're a baseball player, or this writer's block or whatever.
Yes.
You know, sometimes you need to walk away, and whether it's go get a cup of coffee or a tea, or walk around the block a few times, or maybe
Absolutely.
revisit it in 2 weeks. And then you may be thinking, or stand on one leg, you know, and then you're looking at it completely different.
That's a huge part of it. Or like redefining your idea of success. You know, a lot of people are just so caught up in achieving the goal that you're no longer attuned to what you're doing as you're actually living to try to get to the goal. And a lot of
Yeah.
times that may not even be the thing that you're really trying to do, because there's some kind of pre-programmed idea of like, you know, why you're satisfying a particular need.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to kind of dig into that a little bit, just for relief.
Yeah. It's a form of therapy. I mean,
Yeah.
you just spoke like millions of dollars worth of volumes and everything you said, because I've had um, uh, people ask me like, oh, how'd you get this, or aren't you upset you're not at this place? And I'm like, you don't get it. I'm succeeding right now, having this show, talking to Ben, you right now. I'm going to succeed in 2 weeks playing a show with my best friends in
Yeah,
Florida.
man.
You know,
We're
and that's it.
breathing right now. We're talking to
It's
each
the
other.
ride. It's the
We're
ride. It's the
succeeding
ride.
right now because we're surviving. Like, you know,
Yeah.
and you're not just surviving, you're thriving.
Yes,
And,
yes. And
you
I
know,
love that. It's like strive to thrive, baby. We
yeah,
all can do this. Yeah, and I told you it would go fast. We're already overtime. So my friend Rory Penland is going to be really proud of me. He loves when I go overtime. We need to get your information to share with our viewers of where they can get your book, and then the new Buzzards of Fuzz album. We also want to put out your tour dates. And more importantly, you and I need to get together backstage and scream at the stars and sip on a whiskey soon.
yeah, we really need to do that. I would love that. But yeah, people can check me out if they type in Gas Hound pretty much anywhere. It'll come out. That's the best way to contact me for a copy of the book. I just went through the first run of 100 books, and there's more on the way. But
yeah, congratulations! You're already on your second pressing. That's so cool. And I self-publish a lot. I'm a big fan of it, and
cool.
it's such a great way to connect with just everyday people, because everybody has thoughts throughout the day. I think about that all the
Yeah.
time. I'm like, I carry like napkins and pizza boxes in my back pocket. Everybody has thoughts throughout the day. Write them down, because it's healthy just for you. And if you want to share them, they turn into a song or a poem, go for it. But also, just reading at the end of the day, it's this beautiful, gorgeous form of therapy.
Yeah, it is really nice. It's nice to like get away from the screen or get away into something else and kind of immerse yourself in that way. So it was a beautiful process of developing that book, and I'm really happy to have it out. There is a page under the title of the book. It's Baghdad Battery Acid. And people can find it on Instagram that way, but pretty much Gashound, if they just type it in, they can find me. And a lot of my stuff is intertwined with all of the Buzzards of Fuzz stuff. And I'm also talking about Black Cat Rising.
Cheers to Black Cat Rising. Great band.
Yeah, man. It's been really fun playing with Cullen. I
love Cullen. Shout out to Cullen.
Yeah, he's like this sort of samurai warrior guitar player that I happily get to play next to. It's really fun. I can't figure out how to describe it, like
talented man, talented and beautiful person too. Just always lovely to be around. And this was a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much. We got to have you back. Everyone, thanks so much for checking in to Burn It Down. We're going to hang out backstage in a minute, Ben and I. Cheers, everyone. Thank you so much. One love and much love.
Thank you for listening. Namaste.
That's right.